In this video, we're going to cover how to deal with conflict in a team. Do you want to enjoy your team? Do you just hate conflict? If so, this is your video. Stay with us. So what is conflict and why do we have it? Can it be good or should it be avoided? And if you have it, how can you get through it? We're going to cover all this right now. So first, let's start with what conflict actually is. Here is the definition from a Google search, which you know is highly reliable. A clashing or sharp disagreement. And so once I read that, I also looked at what's the difference between conflict and healthy conflict. Healthy conflict allows room for treating people with respect, listening to others' ideas, and considering those ideas during collaborative, iterative, and agile processes. During this, maintaining a sense of diversity and inclusion is crucial. So here are some things to keep in mind. You're going to have conflict in your team. It's going to happen, and you as a leader get to handle it. We've talked about in previous videos that leaders get to build the team, which is a part of what we're talking about now, have hard conversations and deal with this conflict when it's needed, manage, coach, and mentor direct reports, which might mean through conflict, hold effective meetings where you might be dealing with conflict, and scaling clarity and communication. These are the 5 key things that leaders do, so you get to deal with this. One of the worst things that you can do is assume that your team will never have conflict, because then you will hide it and you will not solve real problems. So conflict, in a sense, is a good thing as long as we can get through it in a healthy way. One thing that I'd like you to remember as we begin is every team will go through 4 key phases. There's the forming phase where everybody's coming together, the storming phase where you will step on each other's toes, so you will have conflict, the norming phase where everybody starts to rally behind a central figure, and then the performing phase where everybody rallies around the goal. Each team, if you're going to be a real team, meaning if you're going to type in TEAM, on your email, or say, hey team, or hey, welcome team into the meeting. If you're going to call people a team, they will have to hold each other mutually accountable, which means that they set standards together, which means that they engage in healthy conflict. So you cannot be a team unless you engage in healthy conflict. And also remember, you cannot get to the high-performing stage of being a team unless you've been through that storming phase where you step on each other's toes and you naturally experience conflict. So it's a natural part of team building and you cannot avoid it. So I'd like you to anchor back to the movie Remember the Titans. And if you haven't watched it, you're welcome. Please go watch it in the next couple of days. In the movie, you see a scenario, a situation, a culture in that school that's creating conflict, hatred even. And the coach, meaning a multiplier leader, comes along and starts to encourage the team to behave like a team rallied around a strenuous performance goal, right? So the coach in that movie starts to really rally everybody with proximity. They start to spend time together. They start to get to know each other. They start to rely on each other more. And so that means that once they know each other, they start to build trust. They start to speak up and actually solve real problems with healthy conflict instead of racism and hatred, right? They start to set goals together without the coach actually in the movie. Then they start to hold each other accountable. Then they start to perform. Why did they do it? Because they wanted to become the best football team that they possibly could. So if you want to know how to get past conflict, watch the movie Remember the Titans. The pattern is the same. So let's talk about that pattern right now. Step number 1, get to know each other. Now, if you're not in a natural setting like Remember the Titans, what you can do with your team is to rally them together in proximity in a team meeting. And you can do what's called the personal histories exercise, where each person goes around the room and they share something about their history that they think is relevant to the team. What this does is allow insight into each other's lives and way of thinking, and then people will start to understand each other better because folks like folks that they're like. Folks like folks that they're near. Folks like folks that they understand, and people like people that they feel they are connected with. And so that will work wonders. So if you're not naturally in this football setting, like in Remember the Titans, you can gather your team in a team meeting and do something like the personal histories exercise. Number 2, find ways to resolve conflict once you have proximity. One of the best ways I like to do this is to create a player card for each player. Yes, that means on your construction project. So you will go do your disc profile or your strengths finder or any of these other tests that you and your company really like to do, these personality profiles, and you will aggregate the data onto a single sheet, a player card, which is essentially an A3 about a person. And you will also have that individual answer questions like, hey, how do you like interaction? What is the most positive experience that you've had on a team? How do you like to receive feedback? How do you like to give feedback? What are some of your hot buttons? What are some things that you think others on your team need to know? When you actually aggregate that data and share it amongst the team, now we have active pathways to connect human beings in any of those situations, even if there's conflict. So once you have proximity, find real ways to resolve conflict. It will be very powerful. I remember one employee and it was a colleague of mine that really didn't like me. And we just didn't know how to resolve this conflict. And I remember he filled out a player card based on the insistence of the project manager and wrote down, hey, I don't like receiving emails. And I was the email king. I was like, I love me an email. I kept sending him fire, 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 fire. And he said in his profile, I feel like emails are disrespectful, lazy forms of delegation. That may or may not be true, but that's how he felt. So I immediately started walking to his office and having conversations and partnering instead of firing off emails. And our relationship really, it sounds corny, but it really blossomed. So because we knew how to connect and we knew how to resolve conflict and get past that storming phase of the team where we were stepping on each other's toes. Number 3, increase your proximity. Get people into meetings. Get people into open office environments. Get people doing things together. Once you increase proximity, the team will start to rely on each other. The team will grow. Number 4, teach the team the feedback method, meaning instead of saying you did this or you are, or I'm criticizing you, right? Where conflict can really get out of hand. You know that your team needs to speak up and needs to hold each other accountable, so provide them with a proper method. In the description below, we will link you to a video that explains this, but here it is in summary. If you are going to provide feedback, you say, I noticed, and you say, if you did this, you would get this, right? No different than a compliment. The only difference is that you noticed the action before the progress has taken place. So if you give somebody a compliment, you say, hey, you did this, great job, you've accomplished this thing, great job, right? A feedback for improvement moment is, hey, you want to get this, and I noticed you're doing this, so you might consider this. It's never you are, or I hate that, or stop doing this, or what were you thinking? Always it's, hey, I noticed that you're doing this. If you did this, you would get this. And in that manner, you can provide feedback to anyone at any time on your team. So step number 4 is teach your team the feedback method, so that will further connect them in their ability to have healthy conflict and to hold each other accountable. Step number 5, practice this in meetings. So practice a time where you actually discuss hard things and actually invite open feedback, invite disagreement in a healthy way, right? If your team is in this false harmony mode, and there's this mode on the other end of the spectrum, which is hell, where everybody hates each other, all you're trying to do is move them, inch them closer to the healthy conflict somewhere in the middle. So when somebody speaks up, you say, hey, John, Jane, Samantha, whoever it is you're talking about, hey, great job. This is exactly what we're looking for. So praise that speaking up. Praise the healthy part of that conflict and encourage more of it, right? And make sure that you're creating a safe place. Also, what you can do in those meetings, if you're practicing, is you can ask people directly, hey, will you please actively speak up if there's a contrary point to any of these topics? And there's 5 really key things that I think can help you as you're starting to practice with this conflict. So number 1, there's a neat practice that I call putting it in the bowl. If there's a topic that people want to bring up, but they might not feel confident yet, you just have everybody on the team write down their biggest concerns, biggest problems, biggest difficulties, put it on a sticky, put it in a bowl in the middle of the table, and you start pulling them out one by one. Nobody's name is written on it, and you have a safe environment for you to start practicing speaking up, and then you can normalize doing it outside of using the bowl. But here's what's genius about the bowl. If you have an issue that's in the bowl, people will talk to the issue instead of at each other, and there's less likely for a fight and for negative toxic conflict. Number 2, use the brainstorming method. What you can do is say, hey everybody, we are going to actively discuss a topic, but we're not deciding on anything. Any comment is safe here. We're in brainstorming mode. Everybody feel free to bring up or say anything they want. It will not be shut down. Number 3, if you are in discussion mode, but you're having a hard time making a decision, it can be very effective in that moment to actually vote on or select, hey, who's making the decision? Go around the room, hear all the relative input, and then that one person will make the call. Everyone leaves with a thumbs up, and you can move forward through any conflict there may have been. Number 4, get to the root of the problem. If people are really arguing and they seem stuck and the conflict seems hard to manage, it might move into a toxic realm. Let's dig deeper and get to the root of the problem. Sometimes conflict isn't resolved because we aren't actually fixing the root cause. So if you can ask why 5 times and really dig in and get to the root cause, you will have a better chance of solving the issue. And number 5, you might need a coach. So as you're resolving conflict in a team, you might need a facilitator to actually help you. This could be in your company, somebody from people development, could be your project executive, your general superintendent, or a consultant. But if none of those other methods work to help you through your conflict, you might consider getting a facilitator and some outside help. Speaking of outside help, do you like this outside help? Do you like having these videos to support your career? If so, I would love to see that love in a like, little heart symbol right there. It helps us scale the channel so that we can get out to more people. I appreciate it every time you do it. The last bit of advice I want to give you is that as you're doing this, remember, you're not taking them into a toxic environment. This is not a free-for-all. I remember when I first heard this in Patrick Lencioni's books, I was like, oh, I can go say whatever I want to anybody. And I made a lot of people mad. It wasn't until I heard him speak at LCI Congress in 2017, I think it was, where he said, no, there's false harmony and then there's hell. You're just inching people along that spectrum towards the middle. If anyone ever steps too far into the toxic realm, invite them to come back and normalize and talk about where you want your teams to be. Because if you don't have trust, you will never have healthy conflict. And if you do healthy conflict the wrong way, meaning toxic conflict, you can hurt yourself as well. Once you have healthy conflict, you'll start setting goals together, you'll start holding each other accountable, and you'll start performing. This is what I want for you in your teams. And so there's a really cool reference that is literally specifically written for this. The book Elevating Construction Senior Superintendent, was written for project managers and leaders when they're building teams. Every part of the pattern and the model that I've just shown you is in that book for your reference, and I'm going to link you to that book in print form and to the free audio in the description below. I highly recommend you check it out so that you can deal with and resolve conflict in your team. On we go.